Friday Live continues, even though our novel is finished and the reflections about it as well. I really enjoyed doing that, but it was quite a long investment. Judging by the number of views, however, surprisingly, large number of people actually participated, which is nice. They may even just click off right now when they discover that I'm not reading to them this particular time. My thinking is that I do want to do more readings. Probably not full novels, at least not for a while. I might do some short stories or things that can fit into, a session or two. But for right now, taking a little time off from the reading and back to life in Sweden. Well, given the pandemic and given my own, exigencies of work and house, I really haven't gotten out much, and I'm feeling it. In fact, I'm feeling squished and strangled and squashed. So therefore, considering that some of the family are going off to the west coast of Sweden for the marathon over the rocks situation and the vacation festivities, and this time I said, I'm not going. Take a kid or two and you go. But last time I was sort of vacation stress manager, and this time I just don't want to do it. So that leaves me saying, what am I going to do rather than just putter about, getting more and more puttery in my aging state than I really want to be. And I really am turning into, that guy puttering around the house and kind of driving me nuts. So therefore I said, look, if we can afford it, I just want to go off to a cabin. I'll take a kid, any one of the kids. And I just want to go off somewhere that I've never been to in Sweden and take a few days. And if that just means, the kids on the iPad looking at, I don't know, HBO for kids or something. But hey, if there's a lake or the ocean, if there's, a kayak, if there's trails, if there are places, where a scooter can zoom about, if there's a town around, that's a few days, right? Just killing it. And the kids, like all kids that I know anyway, like to go somewhere where actually it's kind of, you take the kids somewhere cool, and what they can't stop talking about is, the hotel room, so sometimes just a cabin. And in fact, one of my sons said they really liked going somewhere with the family, less to go and like gawk at the landscape and more just to like be in this cool little cabin. He was talking about when he grows up, he wants to have like a little house somewhere where he can be in this cool little house. And I said, let's just go. Let's up a place in Sweden. If you want to look up a place to go and crash, in a decent little cabin somewhere in the country. I mean, it is 2 clicks on any number of websites. Just pop in a couple of parameters and bam, 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 all these options appear. So that is what we're doing. And look at the price, and by American standards, the price is unbelievably affordable. I've talked about this before. You may have heard all about how it's so expensive in the Nordic countries. Not really. Yes, if you do an exchange rate comparison for 2 burgers, you will find that the Swedish burger costs more. Okay, that's true. The relationship to family income and expenses is so vastly different that I can assure you that burger is insanely cheaper in terms of raw wealth. And this, when it comes to big ticket things, well, the room you're looking at, for example, which had a tree growing through the floor when we got this house, and is now, rather technological. So that kind of home improvement and things like going off for a weekend, to somewhere you've never seen before, and all the expenses that may entail, all of those are just unspeakably cheaper. It's just impossible to explain why and how, but they are. So anyway, so really it was a very affordable, 2-click process. And now in a couple of weeks, I and one of the kids will be zooming up north. And Sweden is shaped in such a way that, at least given where I live, most of the people in it, and in the population as a whole, most of the people in the country are living in the southern half. And the southern half is kind of this east-west extension with, on the Baltic coast, you've got Stockholm, and then on the western coast, which is south of Norway, you've got Göteborg, Gothenburg, and Malmö. All viewers of the bridge now know about Malmö. And the space between those two urban centers, then if you go to the southeast, then you've got regions like Skåne and Åland and stuff like that. And that whole expanse is pretty much, everybody I know talks about that expanse as their reference for being in Sweden and places to go, or wherever they're going to go next, or things like that. And let's see, a couple other places. There's a big body of water right in the middle called Vatten, and the on the southern part of that is a little town called Trollhättan, and that's where a whole bunch of candy that everybody eats. That's where it's made. So, that I just named kind of everywhere that anybody has ever mentioned to me. But that leaves out the northern extension up the Baltic coast of Sweden, which ends in that weird kind of Norwegian, Finnish, Swedish spot. There's a spot in the woods where I guess they all come together, or almost come together, but I don't know if anyone's ever been there. Anyway, but that whole section is northern Sweden, and I've always wanted to go. In fact, almost everyone I know has always wanted to go, and I guess people go skiing and stuff. If you on the western edge of that, then you're on the Norwegian border all the way up, and that's mountains, 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 and skiing, all the live long day. And then on the, of course, as I just mentioned, the eastern edge is the Baltic coast. So anyway, my little clicking around to go see what stuga might be available. Stuga is a cabin. It found a cool place. And it was, there's Ångermanland, which is the province. And then on the coastal portion of it, Lägdeå is the little town, and there's this little region in there. And I think actually Ångermanland, that's like more like a county. Well, anyway, there's lots of places to be there, and just where you can rent a cabin and paddle around in your kayak and kick back and go buy some more Billy's Pizza or something gross like that to eat if you want. And I think I can do a little better than that, I hope. They usually have a grill on the porch, maybe Wi-Fi, because it's the modern day. It's not luxurious in a sort of extravagant sense, but it is really, really nice in a pragmatic sense. I mean, it's got a sauna, everything works, and it's got that nice, plain and doable elegance that I love so much. So anyway, and as I say, very affordable. So a kid and I are going to drive up there. That's also an indication. In the region I talked about, bullet trains, east, west, and north, south, are real easy to get and take you anywhere. So I can, if I could go meet, a friend in Göteborg for dinner tonight if I wanted to. Just hop on the bullet train. It's like, ooh, I'm there. North, south, up into that area, I think is a little harder. And it was kind of a question about whether to take a train up or to actually just enjoy the coast. I mean, I'd really like to just drive up that whole coast. There's a highway, just tracks the ocean all the way up. And I'm from California. right? 8-hour drive. See you tonight, right? That's fine for me. So, I like to take it a little bit easy, probably take, more than that, more like 10 to 12 hours just to, meander a little bit and take time for lunch and stretching and stuff like that. But to me, that's easy peasy, right? Get up 4 a.m, dose on the coffee, bundle the kid in there, and head on up. It's fine. So, anyway, I plan to do that in a couple of weeks and have a very nice time. We're there for a few days because I don't want to go anywhere for like, oh, look, we're here. Oh, look, left, right. Okay, click. Okay. Selfie. Okay, now we're going. Right. I hate that. This is time for a summery vacation. Each one of my kids and I have our own pace and topics of interaction. And this particular one really needs to get out of the house too and just have a head clearing kind of thing, set things at their own pace for what they want to do. If they want to kick back for a while, if they want to go, walk on trails, if they want to play some role-playing games or board games and stuff like that, if they want to watch the tube, cool, right? So being able to do that to me is going to be self and parenting heaven for a little while. So I'm looking forward to that. Just did all the booking and stuff just before I tuned in here. I'm sure it's fascinating to everybody. Hey, look, there's a sock on that chair. All right. You know why? Because I went through and found, you can see some back there too. I found all these like clothes that we had used for stuffing boxes. And so I pulled them all out, and a bunch of them are like, what, well, I guess you served your purpose in life for stuff in that box because we're done with you. And that's kind of what the stuff in the back is stuff that's going to go. I just noticed them. Okay, so that is the latest and greatest. Nothing too exciting, but actually for me, exciting in the sense of not being very exciting is exactly what I'm looking for right now. So other cool things going on. Got bookshelves up that, we ordered and put together, and that's just clearing stuff off the floor like that. And then that opens up room, and then you say, oh, look, old clothes in a box, time to go, right? Thank God. Really need that to happen. I want end of 2021, I want some clear fucking floors around here and some clear fucking countertops and shelves with the right things in them instead of stuff that says, well, we'll stuff them there until we figure out if we even want them. That's got to go. So part of this getting out of the house for a bit is kind of detaching from the stress about that, being able to do some things right now about it before I go, but to be able to come back and say, I'm all about this. All right. That is the latest and greatest. I hope all is well. Perhaps next week, I may have something to read or something like literary or political or interesting content to talk about. But right now, it's just a look at the personal life and a good wish to all of you. How's that for one of those like YouTuber sign off things? I felt kind of sick saying it. Of course, I wish well for all of you. Why the fuck would I say so? All right. Better. Talk to you later.